Now, how would an incel lose his virginity compared to me? Now, I'm going to assume that both of us are virgins. I do believe that most incels are virgins, even though there are definitions of incels where you can be an incel um, because you haven't had sex for 6 months, but you were sexually active before those 6 months. But, anyways, what I'm about to explain to you clearly shows you the difference between me as a virgin and most other incels who are virgins. You see, I would lose my virginity in sex work. You heard this correctly. I would easily lose my virginity in sex work. Now, most incels or even voluntarily celibate people would look at sex work, the attitude of sex work is very casual, very recreational, the sexual attitude. And I have a very recreational sexual attitude towards sex. That's how I look at it. I anticipate having sex for fun, not because it's some representative of some symbolic idea of ultra benevolent love or deep affection of someone's intelligence and inner beauty. No, if I'm going to have sex, I expect it to be fun. That's the most important part of it. You see, for incels and vocels, pleasure is really not the most important part of it. It could be one of the reasons, obviously, but it's not the number one reason. It's not the number one reason why vocels and incels would have sex. And since sex work is heavily associated with sexual gratification, and sexual gratification is a strong dominant reason for people to engage in sex work and have professional relationships with sex workers. Since that it's such a dominant reason, um, I believe that incels and vocels, most of them who are virgins, would look down upon the offer of being a sex worker. Now, clearly, this is hypothetically speaking. We don't know how practical this could be, anyways. But I'm saying if it were hypothetically possible for an incel to be a sex worker, in order for them to lose his or her virginity, I think a lot of those incels would find it insulting. I wouldn't. I wouldn't find it insulting. As a matter of fact, I would find it fun. I would be honored. See, that's the difference between me and most incels. I don't care if they're militant incels or there's just sad incels. Most incels want to lose their virginity in this context of love. That sex is an integral, it's a vital component in intimacy, which is associated with romantic love. A lot of incels, um, when it comes to sexual desire, it's integrated in this notion of having a partner, a long term relationship. Well, I can have a long term relationship with friends. I can have long term relationships with other people besides romantic partners. Don't get me wrong, romantic partners are fine and dandy, but this notion that um, I need this particular relationship when other relationships are based on common interests, based on compatibility, you know, this notion that I need this particular relationship, I need to change my attitude towards this particular relationship is nonsense. And that is why I could lose my virginity being a sex worker. I could lose my virginity being a stripper, a male stripper. I could lose my virginity being a male adult film star or pornography star. That's the main difference. That's the main difference on why I feel I must be one of the most unique virgins in the United States of America. I must be one of the most unique YouTubers who is a virgin, because my liberal values towards sexuality are far more liberal than the average sexually active person. If you enjoyed this video and support progressives like the Young Turks, Secular Talk, David Pac-Man, Vosh, please visit the Debunk the Right channel, where there are over 75 videos which debunk right-wing nonsense from the likes of Officer Tatum, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, and the loudmouth of Crowder, Steven Crowder. You can access this channel by either hitting the channel icon below this vid or clicking the link in the pinned comment in the comments section.